that gets us through our episode basics. So Kyle Bornheimer and William Forsythe are guest stars, which means we need to take a quick trip back to the week of March 4th, 2014 to check in and see what was going on in popular culture. And in order to do that, we need our time machine.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
We did indeed. And this week, we have a new number one movie. It's called Nonstop. It stars Liam Neeson. And it's an airplane hijacking movie. So he's on an airplane and they try and take over the airplane.
Oh, let me guess. And he's the retired super agent who saves the thing. I don't know.
I saw this movie. I saw this movie. I remember when I was reading the description because when I saw it on the list, I was like, I've never heard of Nonstop. And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, that's that Liam Neeson movie. I definitely saw that movie. I remember no details of the plot. None whatsoever. So all I know is that he's on an airplane and it's like, oh, he's the one who's trying to hijack the plane because they're like controlling him through his phone, or like they're making it look like he's the one who wants to hijack the plane. I don't remember.
Oh, anyway. Okay. It says, okay, here's this wiki.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. I don't have any money. What I do have is a... What's that? How does he say it? A particular set of skills. Man, I watched an Irish movie this weekend. I watched The Banshees of Inisherin.
I saw that
Colin Farrell movie.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay, first of all, I think it's a pretty good movie. Like, pretty objectively a pretty good film. Yeah. The first half is like riotously funny while being dark, because it's Irish also. So the first half is riotously funny while being dark. And then the second half is like beyond incredibly tragic.
Oh, really?
I was literally weeping at one point.
Oh, really? Jeez.
Yes. Yeah. There's a moment where this guy who has literally lost everything that he knows, and he doesn't have anyone to talk to about it, and it's really, really sad.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I can't think of the last. Oh, you know what I saw like with Colin Farrell? I liked. Have you ever seen that movie Ondine about the mermaid?
No, I've never even heard of that movie. What's that called?
Ondine, Ondine.
Oh wow, no, I've never heard of that movie.
Yeah, he's it's who directed it? It was good. It was like I don't know, basically this woman like it's like Splash. This woman like washing up on shore in Ireland somewhere.
Okay,
and well, yeah, you just got to watch it. It's basically a mermaid story, sort of.
Okay,
but yeah, he and Colin Farrell's like the fisherman who like sort of rescues her. Oh no, she like gets caught up in one of his nets because he's a fisherman.
Okay, got it.
So okay. Yeah.
I will say this: Colin Farrell is way too good looking to be on an island of like 95 people or whatever the hell it is in this movie. That's just not possible that someone who looks like Colin Farrell is on that island. It's just not possible.
I know. For a while there, he was he was doing like all the leading man stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It
turned out he might have had a little bit of a too volatile personality to be a movie star, but so yeah.
He was in that Miami Vice remake way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
so, but anyway, so that's Liam Neeson in Nonstop this week. It made $36 million at the box office, and number two, to your point, Randy, Son of God, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's it's a biography movie about Christ. $31 million it made. Number two movie at only $5 million less than Liam Neeson. Which really makes you wonder, does God love the Irish or his own son more? I'm not sure.
That's a good question.
He does love those Irish. He doesn't show it, though. That's for sure. They love him.
Yeah, they do.
There's a lot of Catholicism in the movie that I watched.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Was there a lot of pub scenes also?
There was a lot of pub scenes. Yeah, no, there's like three things in the town where this island where they live, and it's like there's a pub and there's a general store and there's a church, and that's all you see. So, yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right. So that's our number one movie, our number one top 40 song. We have a new top 40 song this week. We alluded to it last time. It's Happy by Pharrell Williams, and I think it's going to stick around for a while because that thing is a banger. I will say. I heard that. I heard that everywhere. So it's in the number one spot this week. And then of course, our Florida man story of the week. This dateline March 7th, 2014. So 3 days after this episode aired. There's a lot going on here, and it's very confusing, so I'm going to try and be brief about it. But 4 family members were hospitalized this week after eating LSD-laced meat purchased from Walmart, according to Florida police.
Jeez.
So allegedly after consuming bottom round steak at dinner Monday evening, Ronnie Morales, 24, became seriously ill and was driven to a Tampa hospital by his girlfriend, Jessica Rosado. And when the couple arrived at the hospital, she, who happened to be 9 months pregnant at the time also, became ill and was rushed across the street to St. Joseph's Women's Hospital, where they induced labor. Shortly thereafter, Rosado's 2 young daughters started experiencing hallucinations and felt ill. And they were released a couple days later from the hospital after suffering hallucinations, dizziness, rapid heart rates, and difficulty breathing. And there was no indication of any involvement on the part of the parents in the meat tampering, and no criminal history. And so they believe that they tested the steak and they believe that it was contaminated with LSD, which is super weird because it doesn't hold up well under heat. So it's a very odd sort of thing. The Walmart that they shopped at has turned over all meat of that type on their shelves at the time to the police so it could be tested. But the cops then also go on to say that it's an isolated incident and trying to figure out where and when the meat was contaminated with LSD. So it's a very strange story, and it seems unlikely that it was contaminated with LSD, but maybe something else. I didn't really do any research, but I thought this was an interesting one.
That is.
So
I wonder, I wonder if they ever tracked that down.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't try and do any follow up here, and it's always, you get these stories. They're always a little bit vague because of because they're coming from, police propaganda. Essentially, they're like press releases that the police put out. Right.
Yeah.
And so you never know, like anytime you ever see according to police or police say, or cops and a headline, it's because they got a press release from the police, and they're essentially just republishing it.
They're just like stenographers, basically.
Yeah. There was actually a really interesting John Oliver segment on that last year where he talked about essentially police being able to dictate to the media the story of their encounters with people before anyone else even has the opportunity to. So they essentially can release a press release and the media just runs with it, sometimes not changing a single word in it. And that gets their story out in front of the public before anything else gets out in front of the public. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, at a certain point, people stop believing what they really, what the police will release.
What the police say, what the media say,
or what the media says. Yeah.
So,
well,
all right. Well, let's get into this episode. So we talked about this a little bit. It's not one of the best episodes of Justified. We have this weird Kendall, Wendy, Jack kind of storyline that dominates the episode, and it's not good, and nobody cares. Like there's a moment where Raylan, Kendall or Wendy's trying to explain to Raylan about their, her struggles with Jack and their relationship and this whole thing, and he's just basically like, I really don't care. Stop talking to me about this. I just want to know where your brothers are and what they're up to, and that's the only reason I'm helping you. And I'm like, Raylan's all of us, because we really don't care.
It's true.
About Wendy's relationship with Jack, who is a character we've never seen before this episode. We don't really even care all that much about little white trash Kendall, I don't think. And we definitely don't care about Wendy. I don't know. It falls flat for me, but But let's break this one up. We'll do this by character. So we'll start with Boyd and the gang in Mexico, because there's not a whole lot to cover here, right? So they're in Mexico being held at gunpoint. Alberto and Yoon are on the phone with each other. They're trying to decide what to do with them. And the initial verdict is that they get to live, which is surprising because I think they all assumed that they were probably going to be dead after what the Crows did. So if we remember, the Crows shot all of Hot Rod's guys, Johnny's guys, in the desert in Mexico. They essentially came up with a reason to shoot the Crows, or to shoot the other guys, because they wanted to be Boyd's exclusive source of muscle, essentially.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of strange that, well, it's not strange. I do wonder how pre-planned it was, like for the Crows.
Well, we find out in this episode that it was pretty pre-planned, right? I mean, like I have a clip here that I'm going to play, but in this clip you'll hear, Danny kind of shoehorning in this idea of, well, hey, we know this guy in El Paso that can maybe help us with this. And Daryl kind of resisting calling this guy because of a beef that they have. And they're like, you can hear them like debating it amongst themselves, and they're playing it up for Boyd. But let me go ahead and hit this clip here.
Alberto, while your demeanor has caused for some relief, I take it there's more to the story.
You keep your lives. You forfeit the shipment and the cash. The business relationship is over.
Man, come on, man. That is some bullshit.
You agreed not to spill blood, yet there are 4 bodies.
Well, I don't see any bodies. I don't see any bodies because my boys picked them up and hauled them back across the border, Alberto. There will be no headlines in your local paper. Now, I know I'm not in a position to negotiate, but when I make a new friend, I generally like to keep him. So will you please call Mr. Yoon one more time?
That's gonna look awful bad. We got pulled over with a load of dead dudes in the truck.
You ain't got to worry, cousin, do we? We want to hide them underneath all that heroin.
Okay. The bodies disappear, all is well.
Muchas gracias, mi amigo. Boys, you heard him. Let's go.
So we get him in the truck, but without Hot Rod's connection, how in the goddamn hell are we supposed to get 4 bodies across the fence?
Jimmy, do I have to have an answer for everything?
Well, it ain't like we ain't smuggled shit before.
But through Texas? With who, Flores? He hates my ass.
He's over that shit.
He ain't over it.
Over what? What'd you kill his dog or something?
Oh, sister, definitely a dog. We ain't killing her, except make her a little bow-legged for a day or 2.
It ain't happening, man. We ain't calling him.
She took a lot of dick for a little lady.
Answer's no.
Only thing that Flores loves more than his ugly sister is green gringo cash. He got that shrimp boat down in Matamoros. Come on, what else are you gonna do? Think about it.
Could be worth a shot.
Well, I suggest you take it. Because I don't care if it's up your ass or on your back. You're responsible for getting my dope across that border. Now, you shot him, so you put him in the back of the truck.
Okay. Let's go, y'all.
So, like, intentionally bad acting there from the Crows, right? Making sure that we, the viewers, know that this was all kind of cooked up by them beforehand. I do like Danny Crowe squeezing in she took a lot of dick for a little lady line. That seemed very aggressive for a basic cable television show.
I know. Well, even like later on when they're at sitting around that table, when the guys show up to like take over or take the shipment, that's pretty explicit too, when they're talking about double teaming the sister or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. Yeah, a little bit on the edge for a cable TV show, but I like it. I like pushing the envelope on stuff like this.
Yeah.
So basically they've got a guy in Texas that might be able to use a shrimp boat to help them move this stuff back across the border. Boyd kind of smells that there's a setup going on here, but he doesn't really have a whole lot of choice at this point, right? He's negotiated a way where he can make his way out of Mexico